Jenkins this.
Hey everybody, it's the Arthur of Gaming here, trying something a little bit new today. We are going to be trying to create a subclass for the Warlock, which I'm calling the Greed Pact Warlock. If any of you watch my Riverbreak stream, this is going to be a subclass which appears in my Riverbreak stream and in my homebrew world. I brought a couple friends in here to try and help me flesh this out a little bit, and we'll see how it goes here. We have Brian, the bearded nerd. Brian, say hi.
How's it going, folks?
All right, and then we have Joshua, the NPC Voices.
Hello, everybody. Wonderful to be here.
Joshua seems to be having a little bit of a technical issue with this video, but his audio is working, so we're going for it anyway. So a little bit of background on this. In my Riverbreak home world, I have different districts in the city, and each district has a subclass attached to it for a different class. So it goes through every class, ends up with one subclass. In the Hollow, which is the merchant district in the center of the city, I have a pact of warlocks that I've called the Greed Pact Warlocks. The idea behind it is they worshipped greed so much and put the energy out there that greed was a thing, that it actually become a living entity that then gave them power. So they are worshiping greed, and I kind of have this class somewhat fleshed out, but I'm looking to these guys to give me some suggestions and maybe some changes we can go with, because in my Riverbreak stream, which you can see at twitch.tv/vorpalboard, Chris Sims plays a paladin. A short story for that. He was playing another game. They said to make the most nasty physical combat character you could make, because it was a real hack and slash game. And he made the paladin. He was talking to me the other day about how great the paladin was, did so much damage, blah blah blah. And I said, well, yeah, that's why they make the Pallock, which is a paladin warlock combo, because you can refresh your spell slots. And he's like, oh my god, that's the greatest thing ever. I have to do that. So I told him about the Greed Pact Warlock, so he might want to play it. So before he plays it, I better have some like mechanics behind it, and that's what these two guys are going to help with. So all right, guys. So what I have first is, all the warlocks have an expanded spell list. So I let me make this bigger and flip it over. Boom. Ooh. So this is kind of what I came up with for an expanded spell list. I have some question marks, obviously, because I wasn't quite sure what to put in. As you can see, some of my ideas here. Mending is a cantrip. I thought that just kind of made I'm
going to use my notebook to kind of jot some ideas down.
Sweet. That's perfect. Yes, because actually right now I'm only running one screen. I just bought a new PC, and I can only have one screen at the moment because I need a new cable. So I'm gonna do some stuff on my phone. I'm gonna edit my document on my phone so that I can do this. So put in some ideas. So what do you guys think about this here for an expanded spell list? You can kind of see what my idea was. Okay, here we go. Okay, so identify stuff to do with objects. I was thinking stuff to do with creating things, because money. That's mending. If you were mending things, they could mend things for people and make money by mending things. That was kind of things I was thinking. So looking at this list, is there anything you guys can think of that you wouldn't want on there, or something else you can think of you might want on there?
I mean, as a cantrip, I feel like Lightning Lure would be a really kind of good one, as like you're trying to grab something and pull it to you.
I
like
that.
Let me see. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or even maybe mage hand at that point then, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mage hand.
Yeah. So mage
hand. I think it would be like Tensor's floating disc would serve a purpose, because like you're putting like artifacts on there. Like I could just picture some noble who has this floating disc to carry their fine things. Obviously, Aleeman's secret chest definitely going to be in there, because they're going to want to store all their vulnerables or all their valuables, in that chest. It's secret, and no one yeah, they might put things in a bank, but they're greedy, so they're going to put their most valuable items in that chest.
So just from looking, just a quick, I'm looking at D&D Beyond, and what they give the warlocks. So the expanded spell list, from what I can see, actually doesn't give them any cantrips. So we maybe might want to take the cantrip part out, because none of their expanded spell list gives them another cantrip. And then each spell list gives them levels 1 to 5 and gives them 2 spells for each level. And they do look like level 1 spells, level 2 spells, level 3, level 4, level 5 spells. So It does look like, so maybe we should take the cantrip part out. And then do 2, just to kind of keep it, consistent. I want it to be as mechanically sound as possible here. So let's take cantrip out then. Let me edit my document here.
And a question from a complete subclass noob.
Yeah.
When a subclass gives you availability to spells, do those spells have to be from your, let's say in this instance, warlock spell list, or could it be just from random other spells?
They could be from random other spells. So if you look at some of the ones like some of the paladin spell lists and stuff, like they'll give them spells that are not even on the paladin list. They can be from anywhere. So I mean, I would think let me look at the warlock one specifically. Let's see. The Archfey gives you Fairy Fire Sleep, Common Motions, Phantasmal Force, Blink, Plant Growth. I don't think Plant Growth is going to be a warlock spell.
Yeah, nope.
So I think, I'm pretty sure it can be from anything. I do know some of the other classes do give them stuff from subclasses stuff from other ones. So, gotcha. So what do you think? So I kind of had 3 ideas for the level 1 spells. Which ones do you guys like? Identify, Tensors, Floating Disc, or Sending. Were kind of like my ideas for.
Identify, I think, should be one. That's just me. Identify, I think, would be a great one, because they're going to want to identify whether this thing is valuable or not. Right. I can just picture, someone going into, as we all know, we've had players that go into the magic shop and they want to, see what type of magic item or weapon or whatever has value. And we've all had a player who's tried to perhaps swindle the merchant. So if they are part of the Greed Pact, they're going to want to know who is swindling them,
right,
and who's not.
Right, and some of the idea too, some more kind of background on the Greed Pact Warlocks is they kind of run the commerce in the Hollow. So they're kind of like the guys who they are in charge of like the import and exporting. So, if stuff's being shipped out or coming in, they're like the inspectors and that sort of stuff. So they do all that kind of handling of all stuff coming in and out of
all the logistics of goods.
Yeah. Yep.
That's so cool.
They don't write contracts. There's actually, I have a cleric subclass, which is called the Inquisitor, which is kind of like a lawyer. And they write contracts between people and help to uphold the contracts between people. So if you try and break a contract, they get involved. So these guys wouldn't write like any sort of shipping contract between people. That's what the Inquisitors are there for. But they are in charge of kind of all the logistics of stuff moving back and forth. So
that makes sense.
So then I'm hearing then let's get rid of Sending. I think we go with Tensors, Floating Disc, and Identify, which I think are both good ones. I think that makes sense. What do we think for level 2? So we got Locate Object. What's another one you think maybe for a level 2 spell?
Just found this.
Oh, good.
Arcane Lock.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
Being able to protect that which is yours, keep that greed inward. And Arcane Lock, you definitely want to keep that under your belt.
Yeah, it. That's beautiful. Beautiful. That works well. I don't have my tablet today. I would have screen shared this so we could live edit it, but I don't. I'm a technological mess today. So, but I like that Arcane Lock. So good. For level 3, we got Leomun's Tiny Hut, and what else?
let me take a look, see at some of the.
Yeah, we kind of take a look at some spells here and see what we got for level 3 spells.
I mean, we could get weird with it and go counterspell and make that more of a greed, and it could be more of the character's flair of like, not that you're stealing the spell, but it's almost like that's mine and you stop them from doing it.
Oh,
That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but not a bad idea.
It's really not.
Yeah, let's keep that right here while we take a look. I'm just glancing through some of the other ones. I mean, on that same vein, Dispel Magic might work.
Oh, yeah.
If someone else has locked something up, you might.
And we're talking
unlock
third
it,
level, right?
Third, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, kind of weird, but bestow curse. So imagine if someone's trying to steal one of their valuables, and they say, "Okay, you're going to steal it," or if they get away with it, I'm going to put something in there to counteract that, and it's going to curse them. And maybe they are the only ones to hold that curse, or to relieve that curse, right? No cleric knows how to kind of heal that, things like that. So they have to go back to them.
Wow.
Let me see.
You're a dirty, dirty boy.
I know, I know.
Let me see. Let me read Bestow Curse quickly. So just so.
Sure.
So you have to touch a creature to do that, though.
Yeah. So let's say if, so for example, if someone is trying to, okay, let's say a party member is trying to pass something off, right? They're trying to essentially, sell something or do something that this particular NPC or a PC, right? Because it could be someone that as a PC, they're saying, okay, I'm going to bestow this curse because someone's trying to swindle me, or I'm trying to get information. I personally would, if it was me, I would use it. I would bestow a curse on the object that I touch, give it to the NPC. They would be cursed with it. Or again, what through whatever way I could use that in role play, they're cursed. They can't find a cure for it, except I'm the only one who has it. So now part of greed can be not only, physical things, but intelligence, right? They want everything. They want all the things. So what are the, especially at that high level of nobility, people would be willing to pay that person with money, or with gold rather, with information, with services, things of that nature, or not even services, but with favors.
Yeah.
So
I do like that. Let's however, I just found out there was a third level spell called Incite Greed.
Oh, there, that actually.
Oh, wow.
Which sounds like it might work. It's like when you cast a spell, you present a gem used as a material component. Choose any number of creatures within range that can see you. Each target must succeed on a will saving throw or become charmed by you until the spell ends, or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. While charmed, the creature can do nothing but use its movement to approach you in a safe manner.
I like that.
Huh.
So why don't we try that?
I was just about to say.
It lasts it lasts a minute too, so that's very useful in combat.
Yeah, concentration for for 1 minute. So and see, now that's part of the thing too, is I find it hard sometimes, like I get, and this maybe helps you, Joshua, because you said you haven't done this a lot. I sometimes get so focused on what I want my class to do, I forget they still have to be able to adventure as well. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Right? Like, I want this class to do all these things. And then like you look at like what like powers and abilities you would give it, and you're like, but this guy would never go in a dungeon under any circumstances for any reason. So I always find that like that's a good thing to keep in mind while you're building, is this guy's gotta, because otherwise you could be a cool NPC subclass, but what PC is gonna play it if they can't adventure for crap, So, so why don't we go with that? Why don't we go to Liamon's Tiny Hut and Incite Greed? I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say Glyph of Warding, but then I was like, yep, for that exact reason, like how can he adventure? I
Yeah,
mean, of
'cause
course it's useful, but
Glyph of Warding was one that I was looking at as well. I was looking at that too as an option because that seems like that would be. I mean, do we want to do Liamon's tiny hut? Would Glyph of Warding make more sense?
I mean,
So the only thing I want to be careful of, right? The only thing that I want to be careful of is that remember that whereas the warlocks are in charge of the shipping and all that kind of thing, they're not really in charge of enforcing contracts, right? That's what the clerics are for. So, which is why I liked your bestow curse idea, Brian. But then that also kind of felt like maybe you were trying to enforce a contract, which might be good to do with the clerics. Give the clerics that ability. So
yeah,
they can enforce the contracts.
It's a necromancy spell, so I mean, the cleric can easily take levels of necromancy.
Yeah.
So
do we like Liamon's tiny hut?
Works.
I mean, if we're going to use it for party balance or for balanced gaming balance, rather, both are really good.
Showing up on my screen here. Yeah, and that's what yeah, that's a hard one for me. Like I like the idea of Liamon's tiny hut because I also feel like it's one that people would like to have but might not ever choose for themselves, right? Because remember, warlocks have such a small amount of spell slots to start with.
True.
Like I feel like Liamon's tiny hut would be one that they'd be like, well, I'd take Liamon's tiny hut if I had a spell slot to spare. Kind of maybe the same with Glyph of Warding.
Yeah. And well, what I really like about Lehman's tiny hut is it could go from the point of protection, or like we're pretty much focusing on greed.
Right.
No magical effects can go through, no people can go through that you don't want them to.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
9 creatures. Yeah.
So then the only other option, if we like that idea of tiny hut, there's also a spell called Galder's Tower. Which came out of the Lost Laboratory of Qualish. So it creates a 2-story tower made of stone, wood, or similar sturdy material, which lasts for 24 hours. Each level of the tower is 10 feet tall and has 10 feet tall and has an area of up to 100 square feet. Simple ladder and a hatch, and you can have like bedrooms, studies, dining spaces, lounge spaces, washrooms, observatory, or like an empty room. So we like that over. So let's get rid of Glyph of Warding, since we're kind of looking at Tiny Hut or Galder's Tower. Now, doesn't say you can like the tower doesn't stop anybody from coming in, so you can't. You'd have to do the normal preventing people from coming in and stuff.
Now I could see that if it's kind of like they would set up this tower, quote unquote, to inspect cargo and to inspect goods and wares. I could see that coming in, but I could also see Liamon's tiny hut if they want to, basically meet with a buyer or with a seller.
That's a good point, because you could only make it so they could come in.
Exactly.
Oh, that's even okay. I think that's okay. Yeah, I like that better. The other thing I was thinking of too was that the Galder's Tower you probably wouldn't use in a dungeon, right? 2-story, 20 feet tall. You're probably not going to get that in any sort of dungeon anywhere. Whereas Liamon's tiny hut, you will. So yeah. So okay, let's do Liamon's tiny hut. All right. So level 4, we got Liamon's secret chest and what? We already kind of determined that we liked the Liamon's secret chest. Just seems to make sense with them. I'm filtering my spells to get 4th level spells to look at now.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Honestly, I'm kind of the one that popped up into my mind was Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, because it's a watchdog. It's a phantom watchdog. So it's going to let people know. So you conjure a phantom watchdog in an unoccupied space that you can see within range, where it remains for the duration until you dismiss it as an action or until you move more than 100 feet away. The hound is invisible to all creatures except you and can't be harmed. When a small or larger creature comes within 30 feet of it without first speaking the password that you specify when you cast this spell, the hound starts barking loudly. Hound sees invisible creatures, and you can see it it can see into the ethereal plane. I'm not speaking well today. And it ignores illusions. So it also does an attack bonus, or it has some type of bite. So on a hit, it deals 4d8 piercing. I mean, if you think about it, like if you're trying to protect something, right? If you're trying to protect your mansion or whatever, you're going to set out some hounds, right? Some watchdogs.
Oh my gosh.
You can also use it as a player when you're resting at night, because it lasts for 8 hours.
That's brilliant.
Well,
I mean, I like that one. I think
good.
that one's a really good one.
I do too. That's right towards the top. That's the only other one I would say maybe differently. Let me get to it. I just had it here. Oh, there was actually, yes, hang on a second, wrong page. And then maybe in this and maybe this might overlap too much with Tiny Hut. So there's Private Sanctum.
I was just looking at that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds like it could be interesting too. But then now let's go with Faithful Hound, because you know what? Again, Private Sanctum sounds like it'd be really cool, but then adventuring again, right? We got to think of what's at least a hound you could cast on an area, drop the hound down, and maybe during combat or something, the hound could attack.
Yeah, like if someone tries to sneak up on the party, the hound will alert and can be used as part of that bonus action while it's still around. So you could your invisible hound essentially can attack. If it hits, it does 4d8 damage, and it's alerted the party. So it could be used in role playing and in combat.
Amen.
I mean, the thing also is that I'm just reading the hound even more. It only takes one action to cast the hound.
Yep.
You could drop it down in combat.
Yep.
Boom, drop it down in combat. As soon as creatures come up after you, the hound is active and starts biting at them. And at the start of each of its turns, the hound attempts to bite one creature within 5 feet of it that's hostile to you.
And how much hit points does it have?
It's invisible, and they can't even attack it.
Yeah, it doesn't take damage.
Oh my gosh!
It just attacks every single turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I need to play a wizard.
Let's go with Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound.
Man.
I like that. I never even thought about being able to use it, just like drop it in combat. So you see, for level 5, I had chosen animate objects and creation. What do you guys think?
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, same.
Okay, animate.
Yeah, the only one that I'm looking at that I've seen used once before is Legend Lore. But that's really not... I mean, it can be used in adventuring, but not really used in adventuring. I don't know the alphabet. There we are.
I mean, we could do the classic Big B's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad idea. Because can't you pick things up and move things around with it?
Yeah. It moves at your command, mimicking the movements of your own hand. The hand is an object that has an AC 20 and hit points equal to your own hit point max. If it drops to 0, the spell ends. It has a strength of 26 plus 8, dex of 10. Let's see. You can do a clenched fist, forceful hand, grasping hand.
Yep.
Interpose. Yeah, you could do a couple of things with it.
Now, of course, it says, and that's everything. So, clenched fist says creature or object. Forceful
Yeah,
hand
so you
says
could
just creature. Grasping hand just says creature as well. But it
mhm,
depending. I mean, a DM may be willing to allow that to affect objects as well, because for
for
one,
sure.
it lasts for 1 minute. So I could see like a warlock on a dock, like using Bigby's hands to like push big crates around and that
Great.
sort
Yeah.
of thing. You know. So you
Yeah.
think that over animate objects then?
Yeah, just because with animate objects, it's
Mhm.
like, well, but then again, animate objects, you could like the objects around that warlock could be doing things for them, right?
That's what
So
I was
like,
thinking. Yeah, I was thinking if you had anime objects, if you had like large objects that you needed to get like you on a ship or something, you could go boom, animate them and have them walk up onto a ship or off a
mhm.
ship. Or did you have an idea, Joshua?
Well, how long does Bigsby's? Oh yeah,
A
same
minute.
duration.
They're
Never
both a
mind.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They're quite literally the same duration, same range.
Mm.
One's just an evocation with what's it called? I'm trying to remember my components right here. Um, but VSM, so for short. And then
Animate objects is just VS.
yeah. And it's transmutation. That's all it is. I mean, I think honestly, I kind of like animate objects just because, you could have it's up to let's
10
see,
objects, but it's based on
perfect.
size. It's based so like a large object I think counts as like 2 or something like that, or 4 or something like that.
So like a warlock could be animating an object with a quill, a piece of quill, and a scroll, writing down all the things that need to be done while boxes are moving or while all these other things are happening. So that it's kind of like a
Hmm.
multitask. But then they can animate from a player perspective. You can animate an object and say, "Oh, I'm gonna," you know, even almost like classic cartoonish, right? You can animate a rock and it can float or do something, distract the guards, and
Right.
then there you go.
So then my only thought here is that maybe creation's not a good option. Although I
Yeah,
like the
maybe.
spell. Why don't we go with animate objects in Bigby's hand? Because then
Oh,
at least
I didn't
Bigby's
think
hand
about
you
that.
could use in battle in the dungeon while you're adventuring. You might use animate objects as well, but Bigby's hand would give you an option for.
How have you thought about Gaius, or I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, Geas?
Yeah, that is definitely on the cleric spell list.
Okay, got it. So let's not
Right, because
cross
they're kind of
that
enforcing
stream.
things, right? And if
Yep,
you decide if there's somebody is particularly not trustworthy or something, maybe they would gaze the creature to make sure they uphold their contract or that sort of thing, you know?
perfect. Do they have planar binding, those clerics, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. No worries.
So what are you thinking, Josh? Do you like the idea of animate objects in Bigby's hand?
I think they both work. I think they're both good. The only other one that I had, I think for 5th level, I can't remember where it was Legend Lore, but it's roughly just like a Big Daddy to the Identify.
Right.
Mm.
That's it. So yeah,
Okay.
I'd say Bigby's hand and animate objects would be fine because
Perfect.
fun times.
So we'll go with that. I'm going to flip this over and we will look at the next thing. So now, at first level. All right, so called a Golden Child. At first level, you may spend gold from your pouch to modify your damage rolls. When you cast her, oh, hang on, that's not the right one first. You have to have the pouch first. Flip that back over. Can't give you a Golden Child without showing you the pouch first. The pouch is more important here.
Yeah. Who cares about the Golden Child?
I don't even know what the pouch is. There you go. So gold pouch. So starting at first level, you gain the ability to create a special gold pouch. It takes 24 hours and 10 GP to create the special gold pouch. You may place in your pouch once per day a number of gold pieces equal to your level times 10. You must place gold pieces, only gold pieces, and you may never remove gold pieces from your pouch. You may use these gold pieces to fuel some of your warlock powers by adjusting numbers rolled on dice. So while you have your gold pouch on your person, each time you reduce a creature to 0 hit points, gold pieces appear in your pouch. A number of gold pieces that appear in your pouch is equal to the CR of the creature that you killed, minimum of 1, and your pouch cannot hold more than 200 gold pieces.
So like you can't use it to pay for things, but you can use it to pay or cast certain warlock abilities.
And here's the second part of it, right? So here's the golden child now. So my only question is here. I think this needs some sort of other ability. I think that just giving the gold pouch as part of fueling other abilities, I think it might need something more. Otherwise, it kind of feels like a wasted ability, right? Because you only get 2 at the level anyway. And the other one is the golden child. So here you go. So you may spend gold from your pouch to modify your damage rolls. When you cast a spell or make an attack roll that deals damage, you may spend gold pieces out of the pouch to modify a damage die to roll up to the maximum on the die. For each point you increase the damage, you must spend 1 gold piece from the pouch. When you make a skill check, you may also modify the die roll using gold pieces. You may make a modified skill check by spending 1 gold piece per point you wish to alter the number on the die. If the die roll is a natural 1, you must spend 25 gold pieces to modify it to a 2.
Dang.
So the whole thought is, what I was thinking is, you spend this money out of your pouch to alter the odds in your favor, right? Change dice rolls. You can never go above the maximum on a die. So the first part you modify your attack rolls up. If you roll a 1 on an Eldritch Blast, you could spend 9 gold pieces out of your pouch to make it a 10, and do 10 points of damage, right? Gotcha. But you can't make it an 11 or a 12 or a 13. It can only go to the 10. And obviously, it can only hold just so many gold pieces, and then you run out of power for the day.
Gotcha.
What do you guys think?
And
then I almost think that maybe the second part with the skills, maybe that needs to go up in the gold pouch section. Right, so then gold pouch gives you the ability to make the gold pouch, and it gives you something because otherwise the gold pouch doesn't do anything for you on its own.
Yeah, I would do that.
Right, does that sound good? The only other thing I had an idea of was, how about, do we change the gold pouch so that it has a amount of gold in it based on your level? Right, like 25
just
gold
starting
pieces
off like
per level
each day?
or something. Yeah.
You might want to, because at level 20, if you're interacting and dealing with gods, yet you can only hold 200 gold pieces. That's kind of low.
And that's only the maximum. So remember, the character still has to put the money into it. So
correct.
These guys, and it does get some free gold when you kill stuff. Some gold pops in for you, not that much.
But with greed, though, wouldn't you want more gold in there?
Right. So then my only other thought is the CR of the creature enough gold? Or should it be like the CR of the creature multiplied by your charisma bonus?
Oh, wow.
Well, okay. So if it's based on the CR of the creature, they're going to start getting greedy, and they're going to start wanting to fight monsters at higher CR level.
Exactly. Well, greed. We're talking greed here, so
I mean, let's think about it. We all know who is going to be the bad daddy or the bad whoever of greedy creatures. An ancient red dragon with a hoard, or with a pile of treasure that befits an ancient red dragon. Right. Like that, not only is that CR going to be really, really high, but they're going to look at the amount of treasure and that, trove that they own and go for that too. So I think based on CR, there a lot of cool story points can happen.
So then do we think that just CR is enough? So if we think, my only issue with it is if we think at low levels, right? You're not going to have a lot of money to start with. So you're probably going to fuel most of your pouch is going to have to be fueled from killing stuff.
Yeah. So you're going to have to go on a lot of, it's gonna make them be greedy, and it's going to make them do things maybe behind the party's back. Right. So I can even see like a line. It's like, do you know what I did to be where I'm at today.
Right.
Like that, that is a good line that an NPC can use or a player, but they're going to have to do a lot of things to amass gold.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like video game logic too.
Right. But then do you think that I mean, I love the idea of the CR, but do we need to make it just a CR, or does it need to be CR like multiplied by their charisma bonus? Because otherwise, think about it. If you fight a zombie, right? CR, whatever it is, like half or 1, whatever it is. So let's just say it's a 1. If you don't have, I mean, if your gold pouch can hold, like if we change, let's just go to first level warlock, right? If we make the gold pouch, let's say 50 gold pieces per level of the warlock. That's how much you can stash in his pouch instead of the 200. Maybe if we multiply it by the level, and then you'd have to kill 50 zombies to fill that pouch up.
True.
And then if you spend anything, obviously you're resetting that back down again, right? You're cutting it back down again.
We could, so we could multiply by their charisma, what was it, bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do, I mean, that would be awesome, or that would be good, because if you think about it, either way, however you scale it, if you modify it by that charisma, it's going to affect, yes, it will. But not, at low level, it's going to be great, but at higher levels, it's going to be even better because, when I mean even better, you're at higher level, you should be spending more of this gold.
Right.
Or you're going to be spending more. Or rather, okay, well, we're talking greed, so they may not spend it, but you're going to want to force them to spend that.
Yeah. My only worry is them being too OP at higher levels with killing, like, if they do end up doing the final blow on a challenge rating 10, that means they literally have, like, let's say their bonus is a 4, they get 40 gold right from there.
Right.
But then it's also that final kill who actually gets it, because
they have to actually kill it. They have to actually kill it.
Yeah.
Right?
So question to the DM.
Yeah.
Me being a horrendous player, if I wanted to heal a creature and then hit it again, so I'm the one to kill it,
I mean,
how would you rule that?
I mean, you could. However, don't forget warlocks don't have any healing spells though, so it would have to be at that point it has to be a multi-class warlock,
or just like a potion,
or a potion, or I guess you could arcane initiate over to a cleric or something, and get like a cure wound spell at first level or something.
This is literally me just being a total idiot right now.
No, that's a good thought. I mean, think about it. That could be an interesting play.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the warlock, right, and let's say I'm doing a little power gaming, let's say I'm doing a little metagaming, and I wanted to take a little bit of fighter, and then and the rest take, warlock. All right, I'd go into a low level. I would try to look for some goblins. And I would start slaying some goblins and just redoing it just for all that gold. But because greed is making me do, well, not making me, but greed is fueling why I'm doing it. So you could do that too. And that could also present a great story hook where the players are now seeing that they don't know what's going on with their friend, but their friend now is doing things and it seems like it's out of their character. They're becoming greedier.
Right. Okay. All right. So I think we got some modifications here. Let's flip these over and we'll go to the next one. Good ideas so far, guys. I like them. Good ideas. Okay. So this one. So here's the 6th level ability. So you may use your reaction and spend gold at your gold pouch to reduce damage from an attack. And any amount of gold may be spent, and the damage may be reduced to 0. If you take 0 damage, the attack is considered to have missed you. Any effects on a hit do not trigger. You can only modify the die rolled for the damage roll. So if the monster rolls a 6 on a die, you can spend 6 gold to reduce the die to 0. Any bonus damage due to strength or dexterity, for instance, still apply and cannot be reduced. So my thought behind that was kind of like a reaction. They spend this gold, and visually, my thought was like the body all of a sudden think like Colossus from like the X-Men, right? Their body gets a shimmer of gold over it as like the gold is spent out of their pouch. It could even be like it jumps out of their pouch and starts sticking to their body or something and melts, and some weird cool little visual effect, right? And then protects them from damage. And that's they spend money to protect themselves.
You could also see like the gold, like let's say if it's a sword slash, right? You can see the gold like going to the sword to actually like hold it in place so that it doesn't affect them.
Sure.
Or it doesn't affect them as much. I actually like that a lot because now, this is part of that balance, right? You're having that reaction of, okay, don't hurt me, but I'm going to like, not like with greed, you're going to pay for someone not to hurt you. Like it's, it kind of gives me that, kind of like in TV shows or whatever, where you have like the big kind of like the mob boss or the big rich like villain who tells their lackeys go get them because that's what they pay them for, and they pay them to do those things. So essentially, like they're using their money to protect themselves.
What do you think, Josh? Do you like that one?
I do. I like it a lot. I'm just thinking, just think about if the price needs to be higher, like 2 gold for every damage. Like, but I also don't want to like. I'm the sadistic DM that partially screws over my players while also pushing them for greater things.
Right.
So like, I'm just thinking about it from the 28 different sides.
Right, and so my thought behind it was instead of just like adding to armor class, right? Yeah, you could spend, gold to just increase your armor class or something, but I kind of like the idea of actually reducing damage. And I mean, you could have it do like you spend 5 gold pieces and cast a shield spell, right? You could do something like that. But I really liked the idea of like fluctuating the amount of gold you spend each time by doing other stuff. That was my thought behind it.
Oh, no. I love that. I love that it's reducing. Like, in my eyes, I'm like, you guys were talking the gold flies out. I almost imagine like if they were to choose the familiar path for Warlock, like they would get a gold Mephit or Mesfit, whatever it's called, like the little elemental demon thing.
Yeah.
Made of like pure gold.
Yep.
But I'm imagining like it attacking the sword or whatever. I'm just wondering if, and it's just coming back to the CR to gold, will they have too much gold? And so like if a dragon was to hit them, they could reduce all of that, but then at the same time they're using that gold, so that's the point. So
right, but no, and don't forget they can only reduce the damage on dice, right?
Yeah.
So if there's like 2d10 plus 20, they can't reduce that 20. They can only reduce the 2d10.
Oh,
right. Everything about their spending gold is only modifying dice rolls.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The only difference with Goldskin is Goldskin, and maybe we alter this and just say that you can reduce it down to 1 and can't reduce it to 0. Right? Because the other thing was on the other one, on the attack rolls and stuff, you could increase it up to the maximum on the die. So maybe you could. Maybe instead we make Goldskin only reduce it down to 1 instead of 0. So it doesn't completely protect them. They still take 1 point plus whatever, if it's plus 3, they take 1 point plus 3 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that fits
better?
I
like that. Yeah, I like that it at least does some damage, but they're reducing practically all of it other than the modifier and maybe 1 to it.
1 point can still be that one that,
Yeah, for sure.
It could still be a lot.
Which, should that count against it? Should that mean that we should allow it to completely miss? Because then they're at least spending the gold.
True.
Because if they're willing to spend the gold as part of greed, then they should be allowed the benefit of the attack missing.
I mean, we could also just leave it the way it is right now because they still get damage from that added. If they get plus 20, you can't avoid that. I'm sorry. Right. It's kind of like like the visual I mentioned earlier, maybe that or the one that you mentioned, kind of how like Colossus, like, gold skin, and let's say there's a sword attack. Yeah, it might not cleave their shoulder, but that force from the sword is still going to give them damage.
Right.
So yeah, that I mean, I think the way you have it here actually might be really kind of like really, really good as is.
Okay. And then last one, because we're already coming. The way this time goes really fast, doesn't it? We're already at like 45 minutes. So this one,
really?
Yeah. So this one,
it does not seem like it.
Yeah, I know. So this one may be moot. So we may need to write an entirely different power, because we kind of already adjusted this. So this one, what I had was at 10th level, you may put a number of gold in day in your pouch equal to your level times 25. In addition, when you receive gold in your pouch from reducing creature to 0 points, you gain an additional amount equal to your charisma modifier. And then you gain the ability to make a special improved gold pouch. Takes 24 hours, 100 gold pieces, and your improved gold pouch has an extra dimensional space that can hold 500 gold pieces. That part of it was actually a part that you could take money out of. Like their own little personal 500 gold piece bag of holding is what I was thinking.
I like that.
I was going to say this is at 10th level, correct? This
right,
is
correct.
Weird. Okay.
And this is the last bonus, right? I think the warlocks. I think that's the last level that the warlocks get. Oh no, hang on a minute. I had one more that I forgot to copy into the game.
Oops.
So I'll tell you that in a minute. I have one. There's a 14th level one. So I'll tell you what it was. I forgot to put a picture up for it. So I'll go over that in a minute. So what do you guys think then? Talking about this then, let's go with this is gold pouch here. That's the spell list. So we look at the gold pouch, right? So we look at gold pouch again. Maybe we like it. Start having a maximum of 200 to start with, and then at 10th level when it changes, now your gold pouch your like level increases and you can have more gold in it. And again, a lot of this I'm going to have to play test it, right? I'm going to have to, if Chris Sims decides to take it, I'm going to have to let him take it and then play with it and see if what numbers are too much or too little or whatever.
Yeah.
So what do you think there?
I like the ability to create a new gold pouch. I think that's awesome. I think that should definitely be kept.
I'm trying to think.
So I think now that I remember this was an ability. I think I like the idea of keeping it at 200 gold pieces so for the first 10 levels beginning. Or first 9 levels, it's just 200 gold pieces, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then kick it up. So at 10th level, then now it becomes 250, right? It says level times 25. It becomes 250, then 275, then 300. So it starts to go up at that point. But in the lower levels, it's just a flat amount.
Gotcha.
I like that because at higher levels you're going to be spending. You're going to encourage your player to spend more.
Right. And part of this also came out of the idea behind this was I was realizing that, it's in every D&D game that I've ever played my entire life. It doesn't take long for adventurers to have nothing to spend their money on. Right, and it gets to a point where they adventure just so much all the time, and they get all this money, and they never spend it. Or sometimes they save up for like castles and that sort of thing. But a lot of times they had all this money flopping around in their pouch that they never spent on anything. I was like, well, let's give them a reason to spend it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True.
And that charisma modifier additive, is that like I kill a challenge rating 10, so then my charisma mod goes to that, so it's 14, and then you times that by 10, and that's what I get?
Right. That might be the part that we might want to adjust, right? Because I wasn't thinking about that. Like the early levels might be one gold. If you're fighting a zombie, getting one gold piece isn't really helpful. So maybe we just get rid of that point, that part instead of gaining an additional equal to your charisma modifier, we just cut that part out.
I think that's good.
What do you think, Brian?
I like that. I really don't see a problem with it.
Okay. So cut that part out. We'll cut that out. Okay. All right. So last one. We're doing good with time. We spent a lot of time on the picking spells. That was the
Yeah.
So the last one, which I forgot to put up on the screen, but I'll just give it to you now. At 14th level, you may spend gold pieces to enhance your spells. By using 10 gold pieces per level of the spell during the casting of the spell, the warlock can enhance an attack spell they are casting. The spell is then cast with advantage to hit if there's an attack roll, and you may re-roll any of the damage dice once. If you spend 100 gold pieces per level of the spell, you get the above advantage, and if the spell hits, the spell is considered to be a critical hit if there's an attack roll.
Ooh. That's good.
Dang.
Because-
especially with
Is
warlock.
it too good?
Yeah.
That's my question.
No, because you're still spending 100 gold. Okay, let's say you have 500 gold pieces, right? And you spend 100 gold. You now technically have 4 more turns or 4 more attacks before your gold is completely vanished.
Right.
So you're going to have to spend the hard-earned gold that you made from this. I think it's pretty balanced. Like, if you want, it's essentially like, what can money buy? And a greed pact would show you, yes, this is what my money can buy.
Right.
Take that.
And so, for instance, let's just look at the Fiend Pact, right? Their 14th level ability is Hurl Through Hell. They, when you hit a creature with an attack, you can use this feature to instantly transport the target through the lower planes. At the end of your next turn, the target returns to a space it previously occupied, and if it's not a fiend, it takes 10d10 psychic damage. But once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Right. So my thought with the improved spell was, whereas you can keep doing it, right? Technically, you could do it all day long if you could continue to fuel 100 gold pieces. Remember, that's 100 per level of the spell.
Yeah.
So at 14th level, all your spells are like level what?
5.
Are they 5?
They're 5.
At 14th?
Yeah.
Probably.
And they stay until
right.
20th.
Right. So then actually you're looking at, it's 500 gold pieces to spend to do it. Because all your slots are locked, remember? All your slots. And I just thought about that, right? So maybe that's too much.
Maybe.
Because I wasn't thinking about that.
Maybe.
I wasn't thinking about the warlock having their spell slots locked, right? At a certain spell level.
Maybe 50 per spell level. Maybe.
Or should we
less
just,
than
or at that
that a
point, should we
bit,
just,
and then-
or should we just give it a flat number? Right? Because if at that point when they get it, if their slots are locked,
Oh, yeah.
right? So maybe we should just pick a number, and that's how much it costs.
Mm.
I almost think 100 gold pieces is probably fine. What do you guys think?
I think so.
And then at the
14th
top
level.
part of it, we don't need to say the 10 GP per level of the spell. Maybe we just say just like 25 gold pieces or 50 gold pieces. So, for instance, like by using 25 gold pieces during the casting of the spell, the warlock can enhance an attack spell they are casting. The spell is then cast with advantage to hit if there's an attack roll.
Advantage.
And you may re-roll any of the damage dice once.
Okay, I think that's good for 25 pieces of gold.
And then, if you spend 100 gold pieces, you get the above advantage, and if the spell hits, it's considered to be a critical hit. If there's an attack roll. So it's only affecting spells that are attack rolls. It's not affecting anything that's like a saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think, Josh?
So many thoughts. Art. No, I almost feel like either the base 25 should be higher or the 100 should be lower, because it feels like such a huge gap between 25 and 100
You could
for
do
something that, yes, critical damage
that's
is
true.
amazing.
Maybe 50 gold pieces instead of 25. Kind of have that compromise. Or maybe 25 does that one thing. 50 gold pieces maybe helps you with a saving throw, right? And then 100 pieces would give, would kind of have that attack.
Or pretty much roughly same concept. 25 is the advantage. 50 is the advantage and the reroll of anything once. And then 75 or 100 is you get all three of these things together. Or 75 is the saving throws, and then 100 is everything, including lower saving throw, advantage, whatever the second thing is that I cannot remember at this point, and then critical damage as well.
So how about this?
Or is that too much?
No, I like it. So how about if 25 gives them advantage on the attack roll? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me write this down. Advantage on the attack roll. If they spend 50 gold pieces, you have advantage on the attack roll, and you can re-roll any number of dice once. Any number of damage dice once. How about for 75? You can cast a spell that requires a spell that requires a saving throw, and give anybody making the save disadvantage on their saves.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. Because especially at higher levels, that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you spend 100, you get the above advantage, and if the spell hits, the spell is considered to be a critical hit.
I like that.
So you have, right? So you have advantage on the attack roll for 25, advantage on the attack roll, and re-roll any of the damage dice once for 50. 75, any spell with a save, all the creatures that make their save do so with disadvantage. Yep. And then 100, you get advantage on an attack roll, and if you hit, it's considered a crit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Only question I have about the damage, re-roll of the damage. Do you have to take the new roll, or can you choose between the two?
I say take the new roll. What do you think?
I agree.
I think you're kind of gambling with your luck there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely.
But that's a good thing to think about now. Thank you. Must take the new roll. All right. What do you think? Good?
I like it.
So overall, what do you think about my idea for the Greed Pact Warlock?
I think I really like the concept. It's you have made, I could see where the lore has come up where they basically worshipped greed and money so much that it almost like they materialized them into the plane, and now they worship it. It's a spirit, or it's a certain deity.
Right, and that's my idea behind it too. And that can be, if I ever were to put this out as a book, the DM can, or the person running the homebrew world at that point, the world can decide what that is. Did greed just simply manifest? Was it like a spirit that just manifested, came, was willed into life? Is it a deity? Like is it a minor deity? Is it like some sort of other deity, some evil deity that like decided, oh, hey, I'm gonna take advantage of these people? Is it a fiend? Is it it could be anything, right? It could be any number of powerful beings that just found a way to impart power upon people.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my idea, was just kind of something weird and odd,
I do like that though.
No,
I really do.
Cool.
Completely. Yeah, like I'm looking through this. I'm like, I honestly would love to have this in one of my campaigns. Like, this is really cool.
Oh, I could definitely send it to you, and you could certainly play it, and we'll see. You could do some play testing for me and see if you like it and all that.
Totally.
See if it's too much or
100%.
too little or what. Whatever. But okay, let's wrap it up there. Let's go through a couple quick things. Number one, a big thank you to Vorpal Board. As you guys can see here, this is Vorpal Board that we're using for this. Vorpal Board's amazing. They're in Kickstarter. Well, they just finished a Kickstarter. You can jump in on the Kickstarter. If you go to my Instagram at the Arthur of Gaming, go to my link in my bio. It'll take you to the option of going there. As well, I'll try and put some stuff down below as well when I post this video. Also, the usual. Come find my Instagram at the Arthur of Gaming. I put stuff about board games, role-playing games, D&D stuff, have all sorts of stuff there. And my YouTube channel, the Arthur of Gaming. I have tons of videos up there right now on all sorts of various topics. Go watch them, subscribe, all that good kind of stuff. Brian, where can people find you? Give a shout out, man.
So folks can find me on Instagram as the Bearded Nerd Media. You can find the podcast, the Bearded Nerd Podcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much everywhere that you consume podcasts. But on the social media, it's the Bearded Nerd or the Bearded Nerd Media.
Awesome. And Josh?
Hey, y'all can find me at Npc Voices on Instagram or on the Twitters, and I recently got myself into TikTok. So please check me out, give a like, give some love.
All right, guys. Awesome. Again, thank you very much for coming and helping me. We'll do this again for sure. I've got so many more subclasses I have to work out, and I can't always, put my brain to coming up with the mechanics behind it. And I will definitely get it out to you guys if you want to try and use it. And thank you. And thanks to everybody else for watching. Peace out, everybody, and stay safe.
Have a good one.
Have a great one, guys.